Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Unitarian Church in New Bedford. I am Karen Anderson, and I minister to this congregation as we minister to each other. We are a beloved community of people who believe that everyone is worthy of respect, that science is real, the democratic process is a sacred thing, that we are all part of an interconnected web, and that the light and energy we share and put out makes a difference in this world. We are people of purpose, and if what you hear today resonates with you, well, come on down. Well, not yet, but we hope you'll enjoy watching our services here on YouTube until we get back together in September. And maybe then you can become part of this way cool family of seekers and keepers of this long dream that is our church. Happy bright spring Sunday. Now we are going to begin our service as always by lighting our chalice. The words for the chalice lighting this week are from Reverend Scott Taylor, used by permission. We light this chalice in honor of first steps, for beginning even when the path ahead is unclear, for the courage it takes to trust that the way will reveal itself, that light will come to clarify our vision, that friends will be by our side. May the words, song, stillness, and common breath of this hour remind us that every step of the way is never one we take alone. Our opening words this morning are from Reverend Gretchen Haley, called The Promises We Make. This is also used by permission. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some golden flax tales to spin. Come in, come in. Come in if you're worried summer's going too quick. Come in if you're hoping for more singing shtick. Come in if you can't wait till the beauty of fall. Come in if you're visiting and wondering, what the heck is this all? If you're a laugher, a dancer, a League of Women voter, if you're a reader, a singer, a Hawaiian lei wearer, a stargazer, a doubter, an early riser, a late bloomer, if you're still growing and learning and becoming yourself, come in, for we have some wild tales of the Spirit to spin, courage to gain, hope to renew, souls to recharge. Come in, let us worship together. Blessed is the ground on which we stand. Holy and whole-making is this place. Let us take just a moment to welcome each other in spirit. I wish we could be here together soon, 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 I promise. Not soon enough, of course. Now let us read our covenant together. We come together as a religious community, upholding freedom of conscience, right relationship, and the inherent worth of all people. We value our diversity and pledge to care for one another in the spirit of compassion, to speak and listen to each other with respect, and to promote justice and kindness in the world. Now, let us sing together our hymn, one of our hymns, Wake Now My Senses. And hear the earth call. us. Light some candles of joy, sorrow, fear, concern, love, happiness as we do together. I will begin with a candle of grief from my friend Dave Lynch, who passed away this week, far too young and for no good reason. Candle of anger and overwhelming frustration. That it seems to be not just every month or every week, but every day now that a random or targeted mass shooting occurs somewhere in our country. It's shameful. It's almost incomprehensible to me that this continues in our country and some people fight against regulations and restrictions on firearms. I could and maybe will do a whole sermon about this issue someday, but not today. So I'd light a candle to passionately support any new laws that will make it just a little harder for someone to buy a gun and immediately use it to kill their fellow citizens. I don't think that's too much to ask. Candle of joy for all the daffodils blooming around our church right now. It looks just beautiful. And we bless our friends Nancy Crosby and Maureen Fanning and Rick Finneran and all of the people that have come to help make our garden beautiful every year and that maintain it so beautifully in the summertime especially. And candle of love and hope. Today is kind of special as it will be the last time Karen Anderson will be preaching in this meeting space. And that's because I am getting married on May 1st. So I will be Karen LeBlanc the next time I preach here. I'm very excited to marry Tori and commit to making a family with his son Talon, who I love like my own, and all the dogs and chickens we can manage. We'll do the official wedding right here with Yasmin presiding and Randy giving us some nice music, and we will record it and share it with you afterwards. So send us all the love and luck that every couple needs when making this kind of commitment. It's very strange to be on the other side of a wedding for once. Did I say for once? I meant for 3 times. And I lit 2 final candles, as is our practice here, one for all the joys and the sorrows we keep in our hearts this week, and one for all of those people who have yet to find a wonderful, safe, loving environment like we have here to share their joys and concerns. first reading, which is actually a story for all ages of a sorts, and one that I've done at several weddings, including our friends Charlie and Jeff. This is from The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams Bianco. The skin horse had lived in the nursery longer than any of the others. He was so old that his brown coat was bald in patches and showed the seams underneath, and most of the hairs in his tail had been pulled out to string bead necklaces. He was wise, for he had seen a long succession of mechanical toys arrive to boast and swagger, and by break their mainsprings and pass away. And he knew that they were only toys and would never turn into anything else. For nursery magic is very strange and wonderful, and only those playthings that are old and wise and experienced, like the skin horse, understand all about it. "What is real?" asked the rabbit one day when they were lying side by side near the nursery fender before Nana came to tidy the room. "Does it mean having things that buzz inside you and a stick-out handle?" "Real isn't how you are made," said the skin horse. "It's a thing that happens to you. When a child really loves you for a long, long time, and not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real." "Does it hurt?" asked the rabbit. "Sometimes," said the skin horse, for he was always truthful. "When you are real, you don't mind being hurt." "Does it happen all at once, like being wound up?" he asked, "or bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the skin horse. "You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily or have sharp edges or have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, and your eyes drop out, and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand." "Oh, I suppose you're real," said the rabbit, and then he wished he had not said it, for he thought the skin horse might be sensitive. But the skin horse only smiled. "The boy's uncle made me real," he said. "That was a great many years ago. But once you are real, you can't become unreal again. It lasts for always." Our prayer, our meditation this morning is from Leslie Ahuva Fales. It's called "All That We Have Been, All That We Will Become." So join with me in this time of meditation. In a trick of photography, 9 people float in a chain led by a red balloon. All that we have been separately and all that we will become together is stretched out before us and behind us, like stars scattered across a canvas of sky. We stand at the precipice, arms locked together like tandem skydivers working up the courage to jump. Tell me, friends, what have we got to lose? Our fear of failure? Our mistrust of our own talents? What have we got to lose? A poverty of the spirit? The lie that we are alone? What wonders await us in the space between the first leap and the moment our feet, our wheels, however we move our bodies across this precious earth, touch down softly on unknown soil. What have we got to lose that we can't replace with some previously unimaginable joy? Blessed are you, Spirit of life, who has sustained us, enlivened us, and enabled us to reach this moment. Give us courage in our leaping and gratitude in our landing. And share with us in the joy of a long and fruitful ministry together. Amen, and so may it be. What a lovely piece of music. My goodness. That sounded like spring. Sounded like leaves unfurling and little bees and birds flying around. I love it. What was it called?
A good meditation.
Oh, it is a good meditation piece. I loved it. Our second reading is by Maureen Killeran. It's called Holy is This Place. Holy are the places of memory, the places which have formed us, where we store the icons of success and shattered dreams, and gather threads and pieces of what we would become. Holy are the places of memory. Holy are the places of the dream, the places over the rainbow, where all children are wanted and all people are fed, where colors are the source of celebration and youth and age come to the table as one. Holy are the places of the dream. Holy are the places of change and pain, the places of our struggle, where the rivers of our lives run white and fast, and we hold on and grow. Holy are the places of change and pain. Holy are the places of connection, the places where we risk ourselves, where hands, touch souls, touch minds, and in awareness still, we change our lives. Holy are the places of connection. Holy are the places of becoming, the places of clear vision, where life and world are intertwined, and we can see forever in this moment and give thanks. Holy are the places of becoming. Let us sing now our second hymn, Spirit of Life. Now is the time in our service. We ask you for your kind donations toward the good works of this church, of which there are many. Thanks everyone for having sent in your pledges early and on time this year, and our new pledge drive is about to begin. As always, you can send your donations snail mail to 71 8th Street, New Bedford, Massachusetts, 02740. Go to uunewbedford.org. Scroll on down and hit that donate button as many times as you like. And otherwise, keep supporting us here by watching our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Hit that little bell for notifications of new services weekly. Now, let's see. Our Soul Matters theme this month is becoming. And that's a great theme, not just because the world is becoming warm and green finally, but because we, our world, our people, still struggling with this pandemic. This world has become a very different place than it was this time last year. And our journey is not over. We are still becoming. We're just not quite sure what yet, right? But isn't that how all journey stories of becoming, begin and end? With uncertainty, but hope. So in just a few weeks, a couple of weeks now, oh my gosh, I will become a wife again. I will become Karen LeBlanc. And I want to tell you a little journey story about my fiance and I. Tori is his name, if you don't know. This happened about a little over 2 years ago. Tori found out that Jim Gaffigan, one of my favorite comedians, was going to be at Foxwoods all weekend and knew I desperately needed a weekend away. And it didn't take much to convince me that I needed to go have some fun. Now, I had never been to Foxwoods or any other casino. I don't buy scratch tickets or play Keno. I don't play blackjack or poker. I play cribbage. And darn it, there just wasn't a high-stakes cribbage table to be found. But the people watching was well worth the $100 we threw at the slot machines, and we had a great time at the show. But that's not the story I want to tell you. When we were driving to the hotel we were staying at just outside lovely historic Mystic Village in Stonington, we passed by a beautiful old cemetery right on the water, Elm Grove. And I said, we have to go there tomorrow before we leave and take a little drive around. I love cemeteries, and I'm drawn to the art and the landscaping, and but mostly to the feeling of those who have come before us, those whose journey we don't know. But for every one of them under the ground there's a story. So we went to the show, we had a blast, we laughed, we threw away our $100, 30 to 50 cents at a time, to an array of slot machines. And the next day, as rainy as it was, we went to the cemetery, but we almost skipped it because it was raining really hard. So we spent a bunch of time just rolling around slowly around the narrow, puddle-laden roads, stopping here and there. And when the rain eased up, we'd get out and take pictures of the grand monuments we came across, or the juxtaposition of the water and the curve of the placement of the stones, graves almost falling in and over the precipice that separates the land and the water. There was a beautiful statue of a mournful woman holding an anchor for a man lost at sea, and 5 little cherubs, all with different faces, all from the same family, who all died before they turned 3. And a large area that held the graves of the Tribble family, which I thought was very cool as a Star Trek fan. So we were driving around, and I asked him to pull over. I wanted to get a few pictures of some unusual monuments. And he pulled over, and we both got out. And the rain had mostly abated, and we wandered around taking pictures, wondering what kind of person would insist on having a big cube on its side as a monument to their life, because that's kind of cool. But the rain kept coming, soft as it was, and we had to get home, so we walked back to the car. I had my passenger's side door open, and my head was inside looking for something. And I hear Tori say something about a birthday. I look up and turn around and see this big gravestone right beside me with the name Meade, M-E-A-D-E, on the front. And my eyes are immediately drawn to the name on the left, Phoebe Wells, wife of Matthew Meade, born April 12th, 1814. And I said, "Oh, wow, that's my birthday." And he says, no, I was talking about him. His birthday is September 7th. That's my birthday. And I shift my eyes to the right, and sure enough, we have parked in front of a headstone for a couple from the 19th century that shared both of our birthdays. What? We got into the car and thought about that and talked about how kind of creepy it was, though interesting, all the way home. On our journey, inspired by a random Google search and my partner wanting me to get out of town to force me to have some fun, somehow led us there to park beside a gravestone in a cemetery in Connecticut on a rainy Sunday morning that we almost missed for looking at all the other fancier stones surrounding it that featured a couple sharing both of our birthdays. What are the chances? Come on, it doesn't matter. To me, it was a clear sign that I was on the right path, that what we were becoming as a couple was good and right. And that small thing probably did more for me to move on, to untangle from my past, than several previous years of therapy. Because on my path, I have learned to trust my instincts and not pretend to be deaf and blind when the signs that the web of the universe I have great faith in send me a clear message. This sign happened to come along just when I was ready to accept it. Go figure. This helped me to unbecome who I'm not anymore and feel like where I'm going is exactly where I'm supposed to be. What I'm becoming is exactly who I was meant to become. One of our Soul Matters resources tells us, we UUs love to tell our journey stories and hear each other's journey stories. Whereas other religions have newcomers stand up and confess their fallen ways or declare a commitment to one way, we invite each other to talk about how our way is like no other. It's a curious thing when you think about it. We welcome people to our fold not by asking them to commit to thinking exactly as the group does, but by having them declare how their journey is not like anyone else's. It's about space, not similarity. We bind ourselves to each other not by sharing the same journey, but by offering each other the room to discover the unique journey that fits us. It's about making room for people to write their own stories. Or maybe it's about making room for people to rewrite their stories. It's become popular in our society to talk about spiritual journeys as a process of living into your full or true self. And that's a helpful frame. And yet there's something deep within Unitarian Universalism that resists it. Historically, we've been the people that struggled not so much to find ourselves, but to untangle ourselves from the religious identities we were given. Our spiritual journeys did not begin with a blank slate. They began with the hunger to wipe the slate clean and begin anew. So we have this important awareness that the spiritual journey, becoming something new, is not simply about finding your true self, but also about untangling from your old self. The sermon was inspired by the quote from Albert Schweitzer, who wrote, "The path of awakening is not about becoming who you are. Rather, it is about unbecoming who you are not." Which means we are also sensitive to the fact that most spiritual journeys begin with a leaving, a separation, a decision to walk away. We know that the first step is often laced with mourning and isolation. We know that unbecoming is not easy work. We also know that it isn't a once-in-a-lifetime thing. We find ourselves routinely tangled up in all kinds of identities and journeys that aren't truly ours. Unbecoming who you are not is a journey we walk every day, church. So what does this all mean for us this month? First, it's an important reminder that we're not just here to help each other hold steady and persevere on our current paths. Often our primary gift is to help each other find the exit ramps. And that can mean some personal exit ramp, getting away from a bad situation and having a congregation to support you on your journey. But it can also mean letting people go. Goodness knows I hate to lose any congregation members, but I'm also really happy when they've made a decision to move on and move out and go see things and do things far away from here and explore, like our friends Eric and Erica just did. I wouldn't be a good Unitarian if I didn't encourage people to venture out into the new phase of their journey, even if that exit ramp takes them away from here. It also means remembering that being people of journey involves some tenderness and compassion. We are here not just to make room for each other's unique stories, we're also here to make room for each other's pain. Again, becoming who you are not involves sometimes bravely walking away, isolation and mourning. So if we're going to complete our journeys of unbecoming and becoming anew, we're definitely going to need some pit stops of kindness and tenderness along the way. And I don't know about you, but I intend to maintain this church, this bright and beautiful castle we share and worship within, as a pit stop for those who need some tenderness on their journey, some compassion and camaraderie to get them to the next exit, whether it leads straight back into the sanctuary or to a tour of Bavaria. It is always up to the seeker. I hope that no matter what adventure anyone finds themselves on, no matter what they become, people will always come and visit this church with joyous memories of a place they stopped along the way and that made a difference on their path, that fit nicely into their journey and encouraged them to seek more adventure, and will always be a comfortable pit stop to find friends and allies. And the best thing that I love about this church, just one of them, is that this is already what happens here. People would come through these doors all the time and say, "Wow, I remember this place. I used to come here when I was a kid," or "My auntie got married here," or "I used to come to Triworks. I loved it. I loved this place. I love coming back here." We already have that, and that's awesome. This year's been different, though, church. We had to manage to become accessible while keeping apart, to become Zoom experts and lean on technology more than ever. Randy and Yasmin and I have had to become YouTubers and performers and convince you all it's Sunday when it's really Saturday. We've had to give up our thrift store, which was such a part of our fundraising and community outreach. And next year, we hope and pray, inshallah, we will return to this sanctuary together, and we'll still have some challenges. I, however, am very excited to see what we might become now, because we ventured out of our comfort zones. We got pushed right out of our comfort zone, whether we liked it or not. And that means that we're already becoming something we didn't expect. But as I said at the beginning of this missive, isn't that how all journey stories begin and end? With uncertainty and hope, and with all the surprises to follow. And like anyone else, this church has the potential to become anything it wants to be. There's a good reason that the hero's journey is an archetype that every human on this planet can understand. Because it's our journey, all of us. It's about finding the courage to unbecome what or who we are not, releasing what no longer serves us or makes us happy, and helping each other find the path where our own heroic qualities can be nurtured and come to fruition. The ability to overcome and to exit, to explore who you truly are and what you are capable of outside what is comfortable, and to return to yourself and to your community changed and ready to listen to someone else's story, to give them a boost up or a kick in the pants, to continue their own journey. So, church, may we realize that the hero that journeys with us, inside us, may we unbecome the person we no longer are, and may we become over and over again who we truly are, with some tenderness for ourselves and for every other seeker we find on this beautiful and awesome journey. Amen, and so may it be. Our closing words, I just couldn't resist because it's called Go Boldly, from Jean M. Olson. May you be brave enough to expose your aching woundedness and reveal your vulnerability. May you speak your deepest truths, knowing that they will change as you do. May you sing the music within you, composing your own melody, playing your song with all your heart. May you draw, paint, sculpt, and sew, showing the world your vision. May you write letters, poetry, biography, slogans, graffiti, and the great novel, laying bare your words to love and hate. May you love even though your heart breaks again and again. And until the end of your days, may your life be filled with possibilities and courage. Hold fast, church. We love you. I will host next week's service, which is our poetry service, our annual poetry service. We will be coming to you live from the Roach Jones Stuff House with our poetry group that has managed to keep meeting all year via Zoom, and have finally just gotten back together in person. So that's going to be very exciting. Tune in next week at 11 a.m. Join us at noon for coffee hour. Take care. We love you. We'll see you next week.